Hey, what's up? It's your boy Tim Hikes here, and today I wanted to make a video on Summoner Wars. I've been playing Summoner Wars as a beginner, and I've been finding some videos are missing for us beginners. I'm like probably no more in as a beginner anymore. I'm probably more mid game, but I can say that on my way to getting mid game, there was, some things that I was trying to understand that I couldn't understand because there wasn't a video for it. And when we are talking about runes, a lot of the more established players that we've been watching here on YouTube, they are out of touch with what we really need. As a beginner, I need some of the basics before I can get into some of the more complicated details of what a rune is. And so today I'm going to give you the absolute basic. We're going to go through what these colors mean. We won't dive into stars, but just know the more stars that it has, more power it's going to have. We're going to get into the main stats. We're going to get into the main substat and each one of the substats, what that looks like when it's powering up. And we're also going to have a little bit of a small talk about forming. So here you can see I just did a forming session in Giants B10. This is how you find the rooms that you are looking for. So you can do this in Giants B10. Um, or in some of these other areas. So if I did a repeat session, I can do it in Giants B10. I can do it in Dragons B10. I don't think I got to B10 here, so I have to get up there. But in each one of these levels, the drops are different. So I can get the different type of rooms that I'm looking for in each one of those. And the higher the level is, so the higher I'm talking about 8, 9, or 10, the greater chance for you to get the maximum amount of stars. So Giants B10, there's a larger possibility for you to land a 6-star Swift rune from that particular place if that's what you're looking for. So I'm going to start a session there. We'll come back. And now we're going to jump over into our monsters in these runes. So on a basic level, what a rune is. If I'm talking about a rune, I'm saying in my own definition, I like to think that a rune is a magical stone, saying magical because it has to be to make your monster so powerful. Basically, a magical stone that has stats on it, and these stats and how they are powered up when you go to power up the room is what makes your monster incredibly powerful. There's basically like 5 different types. So you have your normal, you hear people call this a normal flat stat. There are no additional stats but your main stat here. So we have an attack plus 15. That is the main stat. There are no substats. And as you can see, it hasn't been powered up. So on a basic fundamental level, we just have the main stat, which is the attack 15. The next one up from that is magic. This one has not been powered up. On a main fundamental level, you have one substat. So that is the crit rate plus 3%. And it has its main stat, which is the attack plus 15. From Magic, you have your Rare Rune. Rare Runes have 2 substats along with its main stat. The main stat is the attack plus 15, the substat is speed plus 5, and the additional substat is crit rate plus 3%. Each of these substats, as you see, are going to be different, and they're always going to be different, and that's why we form for these, to try to get a better conglomerate or a better grouping of substats that going to be applied to the right monster. And depending on what you want your monsters to do, that's really going to determine the type of substats you're looking for. Jumping up next to a unpowered up rune, we have a hero rune, as you can see here. It has its main uh, stat, which is the attack plus 15, and it has 3 additional substats. That's the speed plus 4, that's the resistance plus 3%, and that is the HP plus 139. And finally, we get to our, well, I'm not ready to talk about the main substat. And so here we have the main stat and a substat, but I don't want to get there yet. So let's go. I got there again. Any place? I want to do one that's okay here. So this is a legendary rune. It doesn't have a substat. I'm gonna talk about that next. But legendary rune, it has 4 additional substats. So you have your main stat, which is the attack plus 15, a substat of attack plus 7%, a substat of resistance plus 5%, a substat of HP plus 6%, and a substat of crit rate plus 3%. There is the possibility for you to have the additional main substat. So you have your attack plus 15 here, and then you have your crit rate plus 5%. That crit rate plus 5%, that main substat, will never ever change in value. So as I'm talking about powering up and that power up bonus being applied to substats, it's not going to be applied to the main substat. That main substat in this case, in my definition, is going to be the crit rate. So just to make sure you understand, you have your main stat, which is the attack plus 15, and then you have your main substat, which is the crit rate plus 5%, and then you have your substats. So these are the 4 additional up under that, which is the accuracy plus 3%, HP plus 6%, HP plus 207, resistance plus 7%. Each rune has additional properties. So here you can see it says 4 set speed plus 25% down at the bottom. So saying a set of 4, if you put 4 of these runes, so if you put 4 swift runes on a monster, you're going to get speed plus 25%. So you're going to get the additional speed plus 25%. If you put a set of 4, putting 4 swift runes on a particular monster. This is basic fundamental when it comes to runes. So let's get more into why you want to get that legendary rune with the 4 additional stats on there from the beginning in a 5 or 6 star, meaning it's going to be the most powerful at a 6 star. And the best way I can do this is by showing you. So here you see we have this is what I called earlier a basic rune. It's attack 15. Every time we power up a rune, you get the additional power up properties, and it's going to happen 4 times. When you start off with no substats, that means every time you power up, that additional property is going to be that substat. So you don't have the opportunity to power up a substat if you're powering up and you're getting the substat. It does not say, oh, we're going to power up this substat we just got. No, you're going to get the additional substat. So let me try to show you what that looked like. Here, there are no stats here. I'm going to power it up. I'm going to say to 12. I know I'm going to stop it. And we're going to see the additional properties come in, and we're going to get a substat. So I'm going to see, so it says acquiring bonus properties. So we're going to get the additional substat. So here we got the HP plus 4%. It's not going to give me any more in HP plus 4%. It's going to give me an additional substat. So I got critical damage plus 3%. I'm going to stop there so I won't spend too much mana. But as you see, I went from nothing to 2 substats. So I mean, that you might think that's pretty good, but it's not, because if I had all 4 of them in place, then when I got to that additional power up property bonus, that would have went into the substat versus me gaining the substat. So my HP sub here, this HP plus 4%, will always be HP plus 4% on this particular rune. If I continue to power up this rune, I'm going to get 4 substats that won't have any additional power-ups on them, meaning the number will not go up. I will not be able to make that larger. It powers up in certain rates, so it might do 4, it might do 7, it could do 8, but that's for another video. So I want to show you what this looked like again. So here we started off with no substats. So what happens if we start off with a magic rune that has a substat? So since we have 1, that means this is going to gain 3 more, and those 3 that come in, you will not get a additional bonus for it. We're going to see an additional bonus hit the crit rate for the 3 plus 3% here, but then you will see an additional come in that we won't be able to control or get an update for, because it's going to be new and it's going to be added to, and that's going to do that for the rest of the 3 all the way up to 15. So here we have a rune stat. The main attack is attack plus 15. It has crit rate plus 3%. If we put 2 of these on a monster, you get a counter attack of plus 15%. That's what you look at. That's what you're seeing down at the bottom. So I'm going to power up so you can see here what's happening. So I want you to pay very attention. We're starting to power this up. We're going to see an additional property bonus added to crit rate. So power up bonus property, we're going to get that in the crit rate. So crit rate now went up to plus 7%. And then the next power up property is going to be the additional stat. So we were able to control the first one with the crit rate, and we got the additional 7. But then the next one that's coming in, we won't be able to control. It's just going to be that next stat, and it's going to continue that for the next 2 after this one. So we got the speed plus 5. It's going to continue that for the next 2 after this one, and we will no longer be able to see an additional increase in that crit rate plus 7%. So let me show you why you want to aim for getting a legendary rune. So here we have this legendary rune. It has the main stat, which is the attack plus 15. It has a main sub stat. Get out of here, Pokemon. We're not doing a Pokemon video. We have a main substat, which is crit rate plus 5%. And then you have your 4 substats, which is the accuracy plus 3%, HP plus 6%, HP plus 207%, and then you have the resistance plus 7%. As we power up this one, and say if we did this all the way up to 15, you're going to see that additional property bonus apply to one of these 4. It's going to either be an accuracy, HP percent, HP plus, or resistance. So let me show you what that looks like. So I'm going to do the same thing. We're powering up as a legendary rune. And it's only going to be one of those 4. It's not going to be in the crit rate plus 15, plus 5%. It's not going to be there. So as you see, it went into the resistance plus 10%. We didn't get no additional because all 4 of the stats are already there. Here we're going to get a power up bonus property. It's going to be in one of the 4. Maybe I want it to be in resistance. Let me see if I get resistance again with the next time that it powers up, if it go through. So it went into the HP plus 505. So it went into HP plus. So as you can see, as you level it up, for each 4 of those power up bonus properties is going to go into one of the substats that are already present. And that is what makes your room powerful, and that is how you can control and level up a room to be successful for your particular monster. So you've now seen how you should level up and what you should be basically looking for. You're going to need a basic understanding of what your monster is trying to do and what mixture of runes is going to help that. So what we can talk about is what stats are going to show up on what room, because that is based on the slot. So you have slots 1 through 6. You hear people say, oh, you want your Magic Knight or Lapis to have speed, HP. So that would be in 2 speed as a main stat. Slot 4, HP as the main stat, and then slot 6, HP as a main stat. So depending on the type of rune that you're looking for, so it could be a Swift rune, you want speed in that stat. So here we have speed plus 5. So you hear somebody say speed, HP. So here that's speed. It's in the destroy rune. Here you might see somebody say HP. So here you see the HP there. And then finally there in slot 6, you might see someone say HP. So here, an example of HP. So that's what they're talking about if you ever hear it called out in like those 3 areas. So like they say speed, HP, that means slot 2 speed, slot 4 HP, slot 6 HP. And depending on other things that you want the monster to do, so if it gets landing a crit rate bonus or a critical, you might want your crit rate to be like maxed out. So you say you want that HP, but you want the additional crit rate, and as you level it up, you want your crit rate to be somewhere between like maybe, I'm guessing here, like 14% or something like that. as it levels up. So this gives you a very good idea of how to gather your runes or how to form per rune. So here I've been forming over here. It's finished, but I've been forming. Oh, I lost. Oh no, I ran out of magic. I ran out of. But here I've been forming, and as you can see, I got a 6-star rune here, and that's just stars showing like how much power that you could start off or how powerful it's going to be. We'll get into that in another video. But here, as you can see, it's a rare rune. I started off with 2 substats. Here, this is a Swift rune. It's Hero rune. It's 5-star, but I have 3 substats. And that's what you get from forming. So you should at least do a run of 10 each day in your giants, and each one of your giants, just so that you could form for the proper runes that you're looking for. So that is runes on a basic level. You now have a understanding of what runes you should be looking for. You should be looking for like a 5 or 6-star rune, legendary, and based on what you want that monster to do, whether it's a support monster that you want it to move very fast, like Fran, you might want speed in slot 2. So therefore, you're looking for a 6-star main stat speed, maybe a with some crit rate percentage or something like that in your 4 additional substats. So let me know if you like this video. This is just the basics. If you want me to give you more basic information, we can definitely jump further into runes, because we can talk about the stars and the power. We can talk about what to look for when a rune is powered up. So it could be powered up in those particular substats. You could get a 4, I believe 7 or 8. And you can see what that is with math, to determine if this is going to be a very good rune. You can throw a rune away at the very beginning after it levels up twice, just to see if you're going to get the particular type of level you're looking for in your substats. See, they want me to stream Pokemon. And then also, we can talk about the slots, because each slot pretty much dictates what the main is going to be. So slot 1, you're always going to have attack there. Slot 2, you'll be able to get speed, or plus speed percent. As you saw in slot, I think that was 6, slot 6, we saw that you could get HP. So speed, HP is what I talked about there. And we can go more in depth in that. But I wouldn't know unless you tell me you like this video, and let's do it, because this is just an extra on a channel where I talk mainly about Pokemon, but I can definitely go there with Summoner Wars for beginners if that's what you're looking for. So let me know in the comments that this was a good video. You would like more in-depth information around runes, and I'm just hitting on the information that some of our people in this particular streaming category missed, just because they're so experts at doing this and they've been playing for so long. They really just don't know what we are looking for when we say a beginner tutorial or a video on runes. And then there is the possibility for us to actually go in and talk about monsters and what that monster is trying to do, and the particular runes that you want according to that monster. But I'm gonna shut up here and get off this video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like if you like this video and want me to do more, or leave a comment below, and I will do that. Promise you that. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.
If you like this video and would like to see more gaming content from yours truly, smash that subscribe button. And for the gaming connoisseur you are, I prepared these videos for you.